Hi everyone, it's Ashley. Thank you so much for clicking on my video today. Guys, I am so excited to be back with you today. I actually think it might just be the most excited I've ever been because I can officially say I am at 1,000 subscribers. And I just want to say thank you guys so much. From the bottom of my heart, I appreciate every single person who has ever watched a video, left a comment, and or subscribed. If this is your first time joining me, I ask that you watch this video and please consider at the end of it maybe subscribing and sticking around. I would love to have you. We have a great little community here. So, with that being said, to all of my subscribers who continue to support me with every single video, thank you so much. I can still remember like the first 5 subscribers I had, and they are still with me. I just want to say thank you to every single one of you. And let's go ahead and just get right into it. So today I ran into Dollar Tree literally to just grab one thing. I always buy my hand sanitizer from Dollar Tree just because I feel like anywhere else it's too expensive. So I ran in today just to grab a couple bottles of hand sanitizer, and it was just me and my daughter. So I did not have any time or any hand space to really look around. However, in that quick little in and out, I did grab 3 things that caught my eye. So first off are these little Caris first aid kit 21 count. So this says protects, covers, and cushions, 21 pieces. And I just thought it was so cute. Look at this. It just comes in this little tin. How cute is this? I love the colors. And then inside it is just, kind of your typical first aid kit. However, look at the little bandages, like they match the coloring of the outside. These are super sweet. I found that one there, which I do plan to gift. And then this one here, which is, oh my gosh, just the sweetest little unicorn I've ever seen. I do plan to keep this one in our home for my daughter. But super cute. These were $1.25 each, and I picked up one of each. Now, I think there might have been one other pattern, but these are the 2 that I picked up. And then very quickly, as I was standing in line to check out, I saw this 6 piece of silicone straw covers. Now, I did show in one of my Target hauls, they had like the straw covers 1 piece for $1, which at the time I thought was like still a good price, whatever. But I mean, 6 pieces for $1.25, like I'll take it. So I picked these up because did say in that video I take my water bottle to work, and I like to keep these on my straw just, for a little extra protection. It makes me feel better, right? So it's just cute. It has like a little flower, a cloud, a star, a rainbow, another little star, a mermaid cloud. Oh, that one's a little shooting star. Super cute. But I just picked this up, like I said, literally on the way out. And those were the 3 things that caught my eye literally as I ran in and out of the Dollar Tree, but they were new to me and I had to grab them. So, with that being said, I'm going to bring in my first couple blanks here. Now, you guys did see in my last video, we made this sign here. Now, for those of you that watched that video, you're probably cringing right now because let me tell you, this sign absolutely got away from me. It was just kind of a mess from the beginning and it never really got better. I kind of managed to salvage it, but I kind of left my craft room knowing that I was probably going to redo it just because I wasn't loving the way it came out. Which is okay, right? Like, sometimes we have an idea and just the way it's executed doesn't always kind of live up to our expectations or what we kind of envisioned it looking like, right? So let me tell you, I have said it before and I will say it again. I will be the first one to rip something off and completely redo it. Not necessarily because like something's not perfect. I can live with that. I'm not like the biggest perfectionist, but if I'm just not happy with it and it's just not really like looking the way I was envisioning it, or if I just simply find something cuter, like yeah, I will gladly rip it off and start over. So with that being said, I did go ahead and recut this same design. Now I am going to switch it up a little because as you can see, I do have both the larger little box here from the Dollar Tree, which this one measures just about 4.5 by 4.5. And then this is, I want to say the medium one. And then I believe that there's one smaller. This one is 4 by 4. Okay, so that weeded just as horribly as it did the first time, but I am determined to make this little design because I am just in love with it. I think it is just so kind of classic and fitting for the season. And this is the red I have to use, so we're going to make it work. Hopefully, everything will just kind of work out here. Now for the blue, I did find a different blue in my stash. So I went ahead and cut the blue out of a different one. And as you can see, it is weeding much, much better than that red and definitely way better than the other blue did. The other blue was pretty much unworkable. Okay, now bring in a scrap piece of transfer tape that I used from when we made our door hanger for the 4th of July. I'm just going to cut off a piece big enough to fit my little design here. And then I'm actually going to put this on the white one. And I'm going to try to lay this down as straight as I can, just taking into account that I do need to put that blue layer at the bottom. So I want to make sure that I'm leaving enough room here for that home. Okay, and luckily that laid down really nicely, so I am happy about that. Let's go ahead and try to get this lined up. I'm going to try to kind of focus on the stars there. That's just naturally where my eye kind of wants to look. So I'll just kind of start there and then just try to make sure everything else is centered as well. But that looks pretty good to me. I'm going to go ahead and go with it. There we go. And here is how my little sign came out. Now, I am already much happier with this one than the first one. I think it just pops way better with the white background. So I am happy that I came in and redid that tonight. Now, another one of the reasons I wanted to change it and put that one on the white background is because I wanted to kind of layer these two signs on my entryway table. So with that in mind, I want to put the sign with the text in front because I don't want the other sign to obstruct what it says, right? I want you to be able to read it fully. As where this little firecracker one, you don't necessarily need to see the whole picture to kind of get the idea. So with that being said, I would just rather have the text on the smaller one, and I'll put that in front. And then I'll just layer, like I said, this one behind that. Now this is that same blue from my last video, so I'm gonna work very, very slowly here, just because I know that this vinyl does not want to weed. Okay, bringing in that same piece of transfer tape, I'm just gonna reuse it once again, just laying it over my design. And I will say that blue did weed much better this time. I think just, much simpler shape and on a larger scale kind of helped with that, right? So something a little larger and not as detailed seems to have worked a little better. And then as you can see here, you can kind of see the difference like from a painted surface to, I used the Waverly Antique Wax on this box here. And I feel like when I use the antique wax, sometimes I have a little bit of a harder time getting my vinyl to stick. Once I get it down and let it cure for, a few hours or a day or so, it is good to go. Sometimes can be a little tricky, but just take your time, try to get it down. And then, like I said, once you get it down, you should not have a problem with it coming back up. So once again, just bringing in my weeding tool, I'll burnish that front and back. Now we're going to do just a little bit of layering here. We have just the cutest little firecrackers. Okay, and that looks pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and get this down here. Now, as you can see, I did kind of put this more to the right in top. And I definitely sized it a little smaller than the blank would call for, right? And my idea for that is just because, like I said, I want to layer them on my entryway table. So I thought that I would just make it a little bit smaller. That way, this one would be in front like this, and you could still kind of get the whole picture of the little fireworks. So here are my first two little crafts all finished. Like I said, these are just the two little boxes from Dollar Tree in two different sizes. I'm so glad I took their time to redo this one, and I think that this little duo is so cute. Hey guys, that's craft number 1 and 2. Let's go ahead and move on. Okay, so bringing in my next little blank here. This is the little frame from Dollar Tree. You guys have seen this on my channel, and I'm sure everyone else's channel at this point. But this is a great, great buy. If you can still find these, I'm not sure. I have like 3 of them throughout my house. So I simply just always switch them out. So I haven't bought like any new ones in a long time. So this is the last one that we did for spring for outside of my daughter's room. This is what the little frame looks like when you get it from Dollar Tree. It just says happily ever after. I like to just take a piece of white cardstock. I cut this down to 5 by 5. And then as you can see, once you cut down your cardstock and put it in, it just gives you a really, really nice white background. And then for me, I choose to just go ahead and decorate, that piece of paper. So then I can just continuously reuse this blank. Like I said, this is the one that goes outside of my daughter's room, and I change it pretty much like on a monthly basis. So it is definitely in my best interest to kind of reuse that blank and just get as many uses out of it as I can. And honestly, why not, right? There's no reason why you can't use this over and over. Okay, now I did just put a piece of cardstock in there, and I did just weed my little pieces. So I used some of the scraps from other projects that I was cutting to make this little sign for her room. Now I have my Easy Press Mini on the side here. I had it warmed up. I didn't notice it was on the third wavy line, which is going to be way too hot. So I'm going to give this just a second to kind of cool down. In the meantime, I'm just going to start to lay this down. Now, this is not going to take much heat at all on paper. So your Easy Press Mini is made to be moved. So you're just going to bring in your Easy Press Mini. And this is absolutely one of those times where I am so glad that I got the Easy Press Mini. I said before, it took me quite a while to get the Easy Press Mini just because I had my big press and I didn't think it was really necessary to have two of them. However, let me say my Easy Press Mini is probably one of my most favorite things in my craft room. It is absolutely worth having, even if you have a larger press. So I'm going to start trying to kind of pull this up. I did notice on my second stripe there, I did have some lifting. So I'm going to give that just a little more heat. And then same thing on my bottom stripe there. I'm noticing the same thing, just some lifting in the middle of the stripe. So same thing, I'm just going to come in with my mini, continuously moving it around. I'm just going to apply some additional heat. There we go. And there is our first layer. You guys, I cannot even tell you how pretty this glitter iron-on is. Amazing. Okay, so now for my second layer, because I couldn't do white because this is going on a white background, right? And also just because it is for a 4-year-old little girl and I think it's just super cute, I decided to cut the white stripes out of this pink kind of watercolor ombre iron-on. Now, I want to say it's a Cricut brand. Honestly, I don't remember. I've had it forever. But I am pretty sure it's a Cricut brand. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to lay down this patterned iron on next. But I did bring in my liner that I just took off of my red iron-on. Okay, so that was still wasn't like 100% working. So I went ahead and cut down a piece of parchment paper just to go over my entire design, just so I can get some heat on it. That patterned iron-on was not laying down quite yet. In this little area here, I think it is going to help me. And I know a lot of you are probably asking why I don't just take it out of the frame and lay it down that way. That is definitely easier, right? However, I have a hard time getting my placement correct if I do it that way. And then once I go to put my paper back in my frame, it's not centered. And I personally haven't found like a great way to then center it if I don't get it right on the paper. So if you guys have any suggestions for that, let me know. But that is why I choose to lay it down once it's in the frame, just so I have more control over it and I can really lay everything down just where I want it. Okay, now bringing in our last little element here, which are our little stars. I don't remember exactly how these go, but at this point, I don't think it really matters. Okay, so I think I'll do something like that. So I'm just gonna kind of hold it there for just a second because it keeps wanting to pop up. I'm gonna put my parchment paper down, and then for the last time here, I'm just gonna bring in my heat press. Now at this point, I am gonna try to kind of focus this just where I need it, only because at this point, like that red layer has gotten heat now for the third time. So I just want to be as mindful of that as I can be. But at the same time, glitter iron on is super forgiving. So now to the point, once you put down your first layer, you could always then take it out of the frame because at that point you kind of have like your reference point, right? So like once I put down the red stripes, I at that point could have taken it out of the frame and then laid down my other layers, which could have been probably a little easier. And here is how our little sign came out. I think that is so sweet. I absolutely love the glitter iron-on with the addition of the little pink stripes. I just think that is so sweet for a little girl's room. All right, guys, there is craft number 3. Let's go ahead and move on. Okay, so bringing in my fourth blink here, I got this table runner at Hobby Lobby. It was $7.99, but all of their 4th of July things were 40% off. So Hobby Lobby has like absolutely the sweetest like table runners and kitchen decor right now for the 4th of July. And like I said, at my local Hobby Lobby, it was 40% off right now. So I went with this really simple but super cute dark blue with the white stars. Now, they definitely had ones that were a lot more like kind of ornate and decorated. However, I went with like a more basic one only because I wanted to keep it a little more simple because I knew that I was going to be doing a lot of decorating. Look how pretty. Oh my gosh. You guys, look how pretty these are. Oh goodness, here we go again with me trying to keep the little every little piece, right? But I mean, oh my gosh, they're so pretty. And so far, I have not like ruined any of them, so I could still use these. Now at this point, I like am determined to not ruin it. Whether I use it or not, it's just the point of it. How fun. I love it. I actually just got a bonus craft out of that, and I don't know what I'm going to use that for, but I'm absolutely going to be using that. So honestly, I don't even know what I was talking about because I just got so excited about that. Oh, I think I was talking about I went with the simpler table runner just because I knew that I was going to want to decorate it. So that's why I went with this one here. And then I just found this sweet design in Design Space. Obviously, it says 4th of July. However, given the background that this was on, I did an offset layer and I'm going to layer a little bit of glitter iron on here just so I can ensure that you're able to really read the text. Okay, so I'm gonna leave it on the little package from Hobby Lobby just because it's really nice and kind of laid out perfectly for me. So first things first, I'm gonna come in with my lint roller. And then from there, I'm just gonna bring in my Easy Press Mini. I'm just gonna go through and give this just a few seconds of heat. Now this is still super nice from the store. However, if there was any wrinkles, it would help with that, as well as help get any moisture that may be in your garment out. So I'm going to go ahead and trim this really close to my edges. That way it will just help me with my placement here as I try to get this centered. Okay, so that looks pretty good to me. I have my Easy Press Mini here on the second wavy line, which is medium. I'm simply going to start laying this down. Once again, continuously keeping my Easy Press Mini in motion. I'm going to try to aim for probably about 30 seconds per section. However, like I said before, I kind of just monitor what's in front of me, right? I can tell when the iron on is kind of starting to lay down. And as you work with certain materials and just kind of in general with your Cricut, you will be able to tell when your material's laying down. Okay, so I did go ahead and get my offset layer laid down first. I'm going to give that just a second to kind of cool down because I am going to pull this up and then we're going to lay down our text in the middle, right? Okay, so I did have some of this coming up, but I'm not too worried about it because we're going to repress this whole thing in just a second. The only problem with that is sometimes when that happens, when you go to rip it up, that can kind of stretch out. So be careful with that. I got lucky there. And like I said, because I know that I'm going to go in with more heat, I'm not worried about that not laying down yet. Okay, so just getting my inside text layer lined up there. I'm going to bring in my big piece of butcher paper again, and then I'm just going to do the same thing. I'm going to bring in my Easy Press Mini. I'm going to start giving this some heat. Once again, just trying to give each area about 30 seconds in total. However, I'm just going to ensure that my Easy Press Mini is continuously moving. And I cannot see my project through the butcher paper that well. I can just kind of vaguely see it. However, not enough to know like if it's laying down or not. So once I think that it's been about 30 seconds, I'll just go ahead and remove that. We'll flip this over, get some of that heat out really, really quickly. Okay, and that looks pretty good. I definitely have some areas that need some more heat. So I'm just gonna bring back in my butcher paper here. And I'm just going to kind of give this just an additional few seconds, really focusing on those areas where I saw some lifting. Making sure that you're always covering your vinyl. You never want your heat source to come in contact with any exposed vinyl, right? There always needs to be some type of barrier between your heat press and your vinyl. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and flip that over once again. And here we go. Here is how my little table runner came out. I love it. I think that is so, so cute. The red glitter is honestly so, so pretty. And then that is just my favorite white glitter iron-on. You guys have seen it a ton. I love it. Okay, guys, that is craft number 4. Let's go ahead and move on. Okay, so we're gonna do another little iron-on craft really quickly. I had like 7 things I wanted to get through tonight, but I only had about an hour to get through them, which I knew was gonna be cutting it really, really close. And unfortunately, I don't think I'm gonna make it. I am currently at 58 minutes of filming, so I technically have like 20 minutes left before my husband should be home. So I'm going to try to get this last little craft done before he gets home, and then we will call it a night. I brought in this one, I noticed that there was quite a bit of space here in the middle that didn't have design on it. So I went ahead and cut that out, and I'll throw that into my scrap bin just because I can use that for another project in the future. So you can always kind of cut out any unused vinyl, anything that your Cricut didn't cut, and save it and use that for future projects. So just bringing in my last little design here. This is so cute. I had to make this for my daughter. So I think we're going to go to a little like 4th of July, little like parade type thing. And I just had to make her a shirt for the occasion. Okay, so just bringing in my little shirt here, I did go ahead and lint roll it. And I decided to just go with a pink shirt. I got this one at Hobby Lobby. You can get your shirts anywhere you like. I typically get mine at Target. I just happened to be at Hobby Lobby and they had this really pretty pink one with the 30% off that they had. I think it came out to like just over $2. So definitely a great price for a shirt. So with that being said, I just went ahead and lit rolled my shirt. I then bring in my Easy Press Mini. I like to fold my shirts at the shoulder seams and then press it in the middle. And then that gives me a seam down the middle of my shirt that I like to just use as a very kind of basic guide in where the middle of my shirt should be, right? So that's just how I like to go about laying down shirts. They make all types of things that can help you in that regard if you need help. Just turning this over in between layers. We are kind of power crafting right now, so I need this to kind of go as quickly as possible. So with that being said, let's see how our first layer did. Okay, not great. Okay, not great. Let's give that some more heat. I did go ahead and bump my Easy Press Mini to high, which is the 3 wavy lines, just because this didn't seem to be laying down. So when in doubt, I just go ahead and turn it up just a little and see if that helps. Okay, so my first layer there laid down pretty good. This little star here definitely needs more heat, but just like before, because I have multiple layers to lay down, I'm not going to worry too much about that. It's going to get a lot of additional heat as we continue to build our layers, right? Okay, and it's going to end up looking something like that. So let's go ahead. I think that this looks good. Actually, let's maybe move it up just a little. Okay, I think that looks good. So once again, bringing in my large piece of parchment paper, I'm going to go ahead and lay down the second layer here. I'm also going to just kind of give any of those little stars that I noticed were coming up, I'll just give those any additional heat as well. Okay, and then that looks good for my third layer there. So then once again, I'm just gonna bring this in. I'm going to continuously move this around, trying to give each area about 30 seconds. And then since this part of the design does pretty much span the entire length of the shirt, I'm kind of just use this as an opportunity to just kind of lay everything down. Now, if you have a big press, this would definitely be a lot faster with your big press. I just had my mini already out, so I just decided to use it. However, the big press would probably be the way to go just because this is a larger design. Okay, let's go ahead and turn this over. Actually, while I have it turned over, I'll go ahead and give this just a little bit of heat from the back. I like to do this just as just a little extra precaution. Okay, and then let's try to get some of that heat out here. Okay, and here is how our little shirt came out. I am going to lay my butcher paper back down and press this just one more time, just all over to ensure that it is in fact really down. Okay, guys, that is everything I have time for tonight. I ended up getting 5 crafts done tonight. This took me just over an hour to get all done. So, you guys let me know down in the comments which one was your favorite. I don't know, I'm really torn. I'm actually loving just about everything. I think my favorite is either the shirt or the sign, but I don't know. I really, really love the table runner, and I'm so happy with the way that this came out after I redid it. So, guys, thank you so, so much for watching tonight's video. I hope that you all have a great week, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.